Hello, I'm Anthony Grassi here with D1 Ticker and Connect. Pleased to be joined by Director of Athletics at Texas A&M-Commerce, Tim McMurray. Tim, thanks for joining me.
Good morning, Anthony. Thank you.
So, Tim, we're about 6 weeks following the announcement that Texas A&M-Commerce is moving up to Division One and joining the Southland Conference. How important will this associate AD for compliance position be in your transition to Division One?
Yeah, it's certainly been fast. 6 weeks. It maybe feels a little closer to 6 years some days, but no, it's unprecedented excitement. It's a tremendous opportunity, and this next compliance position for us. Compliance is important on every campus. Division One, Division Two, Division Three. It doesn't matter. Athletic compliance is the cornerstone of what we do. I say all the time, if our compliance and our student athlete success academic areas, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, that can keep our student athletes off the fields, courts, and playing surfaces. And that's really the cornerstone. If we're about the student athlete experience, compliance has to be one of those cornerstones. And you compound that now with a transition to Division One. Obviously, it's a different rule book. It's a different size manual. It's a lot of complex issues with certainly APR, graduation success rates, just different recruiting calendars, different eligibility clocks, all those type of things. So we felt like in posting this position, it was just very important that we stress the importance of Division One experience, and we've been very pleased so far. We've screened, a few candidates, but really feel like we've got a very competitive pool forming. I'm very excited to be bringing on board our new Deputy Athletics Director, Eric Coleman, joining us from Florida Atlantic in early December. He's already been helping remotely recruit to the position, vet candidates for us, and really what the cornerstone of what D1 Ticker does is continue to expand the circle of influence and look within that circle to find the right candidate.
So, Eric will be joining as Deputy AD, which I had not seen before. So, thanks for breaking that news to us.
Yeah, exactly.
So this individual will be a part of your executive staff along with Eric Coleman, as you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
How often does the executive team meet? What is the communication style, and how will this person fit into that executive staff?
Yeah, great question. And we're actually reshaping our executive meeting structure. We've been going every other week. We go Mondays at 3 p.m. and I learned that during my time at SMU. That was kind of a sweet spot, I feel like, for a meeting time. Tim Leonard, who at the time was our senior associate for external at SMU and now the AD at Towson, a good friend of mine. I really like the 3 p.m. window on Mondays. It lets everybody get in, get your day started. Everybody has Mondays, right? And it gets to the end of the day. Maybe you're a little more focused. I've been at places where we meet Mondays at 7:30 a.m., where we meet at 9 a.m., where we meet Tuesdays at 8:30. There's not necessarily a right or wrong way, but I really feel like the Mondays at 3 fit. Our group seems to like it. We are now, as we're onboarding at least a couple of new executive team members, we're actually going weeklies Monday at 3, starting actually this month. I think it just gives everybody a chance to have a little more time. We may not go quite as long as we do. We typically go. We have a 90-minute agenda. It's very structured within each section. We try to do that, and then at the end of the meeting, we actually rate it. We give ourselves a rating on a scale of 1 to 10. So I want it to be a very inclusive meeting in terms of it not just being Tim's agenda or staying within the confines of the guardrails. That we have some time for us to really identify, discuss, and solve problems.
Excellent. So, beyond the technical skills of working in compliance, what characteristics or traits will the ideal individual in this position need?
Yeah, we try to have a we live by a mantra. We try to live by a mantra here that we don't win and have we don't have fun because we win and have success. We have success and win because we have fun. And I want somebody that wants to come in here. And I heard this the other day. I thought it was really a tremendous quote. A colleague of mine on our president's executive team for the university, we're in the midst of a search for a new provost. And she said, we want somebody that's going to come in here and take the job seriously, but not take themselves too seriously. And so when it's time to metaphorically buckle up the chin strap or lace up the shoes, to be ready to come in and get to work and make an impact and really impact that. Our mission here is to provide a best in class student athlete experience, and the compliance person certainly has to be at the cornerstone of that. I think it's a tremendous opportunity to come in and influence also, because we have a director of compliance position open underneath this position, and really build it out, a great team here. I also would be remiss if I didn't mention we have a tremendous university president that understands how important compliance is. So even coming from the Division II level, still competing at the Division II level for the last year and a half, we've actually had a financial aid specialist embedded in our athletic department. She actually reports to enrollment management with a dotted line to our program, and it really makes an impact. So we have a true compliance team and structure built out that this person will inherit.
So compliance can often be perceived as a technical or sometimes dry job.
Right.
Can you give an example of how you have historically ensured that the compliance department and the person leading the compliance department has had a major influence in decision making in the department?
Yeah, great question. I think the best compliment I can pay this position is the person that was in the position that I hired in 2016, Caitlin Severance. She is now after 3 years after 3 years here in athletics. Our president hired her to be the executive director of compliance for the entire university and over our Title IX office, which obviously it's helpful to have a colleague across campus that understands not only how important athletic compliance is, but how important the student athlete experience and making sure we don't cut corners is. And Caitlin, Caitlin really molded and created the blueprint for how we're going to run our compliance office. I caught her in a very weak moment when we had this most recent transition, and she's actually been helping us in the interim for the last couple of months here as this position has come open. And I think not only because of what she did here and asking her to help us in the interim, our president saw that the associate AD for compliance in this department has a true voice, and essentially every time a secondary violation or a policy needed changing, I joked with her that she was the sport administrator for volleyball, because I'm gonna always hit it back over the net to her. How would you recommend we handle this? How do you want to do it? I mean that because I'm big on the SMEs, the subject matter experts, and I came up in the profession with a background in the external side, development, marketing, revenue generation, ticket sales. So I better hire subject matter experts around me in these other areas, or somebody that at least wants to be that subject matter expert. And I'm just really big on, there are weeks where we're going to see our families. We're not that we're going to see each other more than we see our families. So we better at least respect each other. And I think it's really a difference making process if we actually like each other. So that's the spirit we try to create, and really make it fun to do. We have fifth quarters after football games at our house. We have breakfast club on the morning of home football games, where I want the whole administrative staff together. We don't expense that. That's something I want to do personally, for our group, to show them that, hey, let's start the day. We got a 15 hour day coming up, right? So let's break bread together and not talk about work. And believe me, with some of the tangents we go off on our executive team, it's not hard to create that environment and keep it going.
So one of the subject matters that is pressing in the compliance world, name, image, and likeness. As we sit here, we're about 100 days into the name, image, and likeness era. How has NIL gone for commerce?
Really well, and we do need that. We do need this position to get here, because we were very fortunate back in the. Let me think about this. get the COVID years all running together. Spring of 20, right before the pandemic was what it was, literally in February of that year. We ended up being, I think, the second Division II program in the country to sign with Influencer, and as part of our, being one of the first pioneer schools to do that, we were able to have verified as part of our package for coming on board. We had no idea that verified was going to end up being a key NIL platform. And so as we created that this summer, we actually were able to create our own platform for our student athletes where they can go in and through the Influencer, app or on a desktop, that they can safely engage within the guardrails. Right now, obviously, not every state has one. Texas, we have a very specific State Bill 1385 that essentially puts those guardrails into place. So what we're able to do through our verified program, and we call ours Uproar, to play off of the Line brand, but within our Uproar platform, we can go in there and customize what our state bills allow for. So as an example, in the state of Texas, a student athlete should not be promoting gambling, tobacco, alcohol, those type of things. So I won't call out any brands, but there were certainly brands out there that, we're paying them to just put on their social media profile that you're, an athlete or you endorse this or that type of thing. And there are certain businesses you can't do. So we really feel like that for this compliance position coming in, we do have the tools in place, and we need this person to come in and really strengthen and maximize the relationship.
Excellent. So last question, I'll get you out of here on this. For those that are interested in this position, what would you say is the environment and the vibe of Commerce, Texas?
Yeah, great question. We don't hide behind this. We are in a small East Texas town of about 8,000. We're an hour from Dallas. We're 50 minutes from McKinney, about an hour and 10 from Frisco. We have several communities ranging in size from 15 to 100,000 within 35 minutes of campus. So there's not, and a lot of our staff actually do live here. Staff and coaches do live here in Commerce, and so you get that small town feel. The commute is, if the light's red at one of the main intersections coming into campus, and then you can also, with all the cultural and social opportunities in and around the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, there's certainly something for everyone here, and we think it's to our advantage in the student athlete recruiting process, because just like we tell student athletes, you can get everything you want here. You can you'll get your degree. You'll have wraparound services for student athletes that will keep you successful. You'll compete for championships, and you'll have a great experience. And that's really some of those same things we say when we're recruiting coaches and staff members, that we do promote a family environment here. I love seeing families that I looked over at our last home football game on Saturday, and a lot of our staff had their kids in the bounce houses in the end zone at the football game. We also have a good mix of, staff that don't have a family yet. And we really create that environment where hopefully, like I say all the time, you guys don't have to go out shopping or for happy hour together, but I think it's a nice bonus. Like we said, if we're going to spend more time together some weeks than we do with our families, that we do have that extended family environment.
Absolutely. Well, Tim, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck in finding your next associate AD for compliance.
Anthony, really appreciate the time.